on, everybody? Everybody out there in podcast land. This is the G-Man on What's the Matter podcast show. Back in the Matterhorn studios for episode 48 of What's the Matter with Winning. And we have the beautiful Kel, as always, as normal. How you doing, Kel?
I'm doing great.
Man, how are you? Have you calmed down? Are you mad at me still?
I'm good. No, I'm not.
Oh, man. I was imagining you in the moment, like there was WTF or something going on in your mind when you were standing outside. And you're just like,
there. Adrian called me. She's like, what are you doing there? I'm like, waiting for Grady. She's like, he's at the radio station. I'm like, he didn't tell me that.
And that's where I lost it. I told her and for some reason disconnected thinking I told you. And so I am so sorry.
That's okay.
It's a good thing it's in close proximity.
I was going to say, it's a block away.
Yeah. One of these times when we're in Tahoe, I owe you a Wet Woody.
Okay.
Yeah, those are good.
Okay.
Have you had those yet, Ray?
Oh, yeah, I've had one or two.
Oh, they limit you to two.
Well, yeah, at a time.
I like it. So in the studio today, we have Andrei Carnes. Is that how you say your name?
That is how you say it.
Yeah.
That's how you say it.
And so, a little bit of flavor again. Get you a little applause because it's not going to be as loud here in the studios. And we also have Mr. Art Arreola calling in from Bass Lake, California. What's up, brother?
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing around the Reno area? It's good to be here. I'm doing well, man. It's a beautiful day here at Bass Lake.
It's a beautiful day here, too. Art, I think I sent you this text. What's the matter with winning? And as I mentioned, we have in studio today, retired Navy ops vet. Is that correct?
Yes. Operations specialist.
Yes, operations specialist, Mr. Andrei Carnes, former athlete, owner of Aces and Places Golf. We met him last week at the Chamber of Commerce event at the convention center. So I threw out a very spontaneous lure to him this morning. He had some business he had to take care of in Carson City. I said, hey, we're going to be doing a podcast on what's the matter with winning. And of course, he's an entrepreneur. We'll get into that later. But the theme of the show is why we strive to win in competition, love, life, and what we get out of it and what we learn when we lose. Because we can't always win, right? I learned that in Little League.
That's right. That's right.
You got to learn how to be gracious. But there's, of course, a couple life coaches in the house today. And so we're going to talk about how to spin those losses into some wins. First and foremost, let's go ahead and give our customary shout out to World Matters Incorporated, sponsor of the show, the creator and producer of the show, Big Bongo Productions. So I'm going to kind of theme this today, Kel, as a business detective segment.
Okay.
You know why? Because we have an entrepreneur here.
Yes.
So he just launched his company the other day. We're going to be talking about that.
Too.
I was going to mention that. You'll find out that we're somehow connected.
It's very telepathically connected.
I see it.
Oh, and the little caveat to that is that we did this in the beginning where I would make a copy of the outline and give it to her. And, it's very rigid with following what we've done since this. I'll give her the title of the show. She has no idea what we're going to talk about.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's
Fully contemporaneous.
Total riff.
I think you mentioned the topic was going to be what's the matter with winning, but then I forget.
But she never knows
but I never
what it's
know
going to go into.
Right.
But
there's
part of the
always
fun.
double entendre to it.
I'm always trying
At least double.
I'm always trying to trick her.
I like that. Natural.
So, business detective open case file. What is winning really? Because some people want to win. Some people want to prove. And some people don't know who they are unless they're keeping score. So there's a little bit of the context of what we're talking about. So let's define the winning cocktail, because I owe Kel a cocktail now or two. First of all, let's talk about this. Winning delivers some sort of status ranking. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
With that?
No question.
And so what was the highest type of status or rank? Let's go military first. What was your rank? How long have you been retired?
So I was enlisted for 10 years. So I didn't formally retire from the military. I kind of walked away from military service. I watched the military kind of change a little bit.
I got you.
Got a little bit more political than what I wanted.
I think we know what he's talking about.
That's just one piece.
Yeah.
Just in general.
So I walked away from that career after 10 years. I left there as an E6.
Okay.
Was in charge of tons of people and departments and projects and operations.
And in order to get there, the point is that in order to get to the E6, you had to do some winning.
Absolutely.
Through boot camp and of course following orders of your superiors and then executing whatever it is that they told you that you're doing. Another reason that people like to win is because of the safety of having resources and the safety of having control.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're consistently successful in an occupation, then the higher ups are going to typically give you a little bit more control over people or over the resources and things like that. Art, you wanted to comment on that a little bit in your experience? We talked about having status and rank in different situations, but also you winning delivers the safety. It could be a job situation where you now, because of the winning that you've been doing, you have access to resources or you're put in areas of responsibility of other people, which gives you control.
That's a great point. I think it ultimately has far more to do with that than any type of sports situations, because competitive, if we think of the earlier times, that you had to kind of compete to win, to hunt, bring home a meal and survive. So I believe that it's ingrained innately in us to want to win. Before I go any further, Mr. Andrei, I'd like to thank you so much for your service to our country.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Art. Appreciate that.
Right there with you.
I love it. Now, also, I have 5 bullet points. So number 3 here, winning often delivers identity. I always mention Art and I, 10 years old, we used to play Little League. This guy had a mean curveball. He's like, why are you always bringing that up? Because it was no joke. But identity of being, I'm a winner. When we're developing our self-esteem, our self-image, certainly when we're growing up, I want you guys to comment how important winning is as you're growing up when you're developing your self-image, and say between the ages of 8 to 14 years old. Andrei, you go first.
I think winning ultimately as Americans is our culture. At a very young age, it's always important to reinforce that action of trying something, especially as kids, by winning, right? Like, kids love to win. They love to be praised for it. I think that's very important, just having that competition in life, because it prepares a child early on to face adversity. The way I grew up, it was, we didn't lose in our house. Those L's were learning lessons. We learned what we could from those losses, and we found a way to win.
I love it. That's 100% point on. So Art, what about you? How important is winning in your experience and knowledge of when you're developing that self-esteem as a young person? How important is it to win, or at least be taught that if you do fail, get back up, dust yourself off, and go after it again?
Winning teaches us a lot about ourselves as well as our neighbors, that learn a lot about us, our character traits, how we handle success. Is it going to be ego? Is it humility? There's so much to it. But the other thing is that it opens doors for opportunity. It reveals a lot of artistic qualities as well. Obviously, it's a very attractive trait to become a winner. There's affirmation, and again, doors are open to represent not only yourself but your tribe, your community, your school, your college, your team, your organization.
That's beautiful. Kel, real quick, our reference, of course, as you know, is sports, and Kel's not a big sports person, even though like the Eagles and some football and stuff. So he kind of splashes in it every once in a while in their life.
I'm not into sports in general, but I like a couple in particular.
But pertaining to winning, so where was your first taste? There has to be something that developed this fantastic self-esteem that you have, because you're a confident, strong woman. So still
lots of getting knocked down.
But how important is what we're talking about there? Instead of sports, what was your experience or your take on how important some sort of positive winning experiences are
critical
when you're a young person developing?
It's absolutely critical. It's critical because if you don't, you have no incentive to try. If you get no wins as a kid, that's how we end up with homeless people and drug addicts and prostitution, and
exactly
because they didn't have any wins. They had no example no modeling.
So we're all on the same page there.
Absolutely.
And Art, you hit on my next bullet point, because what happens if you win, if you're a winner all the time, then you still gravitate towards a certain type of tribe, whether it's the jocks or just being more accepted into the ethos versus the opposite side of that. Like you mentioned, if you don't have any wins or if you're always losing, then the same type of thing, you're still going to look for a tribe. But typically, because of peer pressure,
you're going to find
you're hanging out with the smokers or the people that were drinking. We grew up in the same area, so we've seen this. We've been a part of it as being peer pressured, and then to be part of the tribe and accepting things, we've eventually kind of peer pressured other people too. So it's an interesting dynamic. And what we're talking about, folks, today is what's the matter with winning on both sides of the coin, as we normally do. Now, the last thing, it's almost pun intended, because winning often delivers dopamine. You get the, quote, rush. Huh? See what I did there? So talk about that. Andrei, start with you first. What kind of a rush? I mean, we could tell war stories all day long, right? Oh, yeah. But I can only imagine, because in sports, as you know, there's always this little parallel with the military without being a trained killer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's rigid stuff, there's training, there's be on time. If you don't do this, you're going to have to run laps or do push-ups and all these different kind of negative reinforcements, consequences. But that being said, let's talk about the dopamine. What kind of experience do you have in that? And I want you to contrast the dopamine that you got playing sports versus the dopamine that you got in theater.
Wow. Wow.
Because there has to be an obvious difference, but there has to be some similarity too.
There is some similarities. And taking that example and applying it in, I guess, civilian world would be like sales, right? You close a big sale. It may be a contract or a customer you've been working with for some time, and there's time there. There's work that was put in. That dopamine release is that gratification of knowing that the work that was put in to get to that moment where you're able to close that deal, where you're able to finish that contract or finish the operation. It's like no other. And you go chasing that, and you get accustomed to what that feels like. And it really does, to your point earlier, affect that tribe that you keep around you, because you want to win. So you keep other winners around you. And that feeling that you have just can't be replaced by anything. And sometimes a lot of athletes, a lot of people that are built like you and myself will chase that. And it may come in challenges of starting a new business. It may come in challenges of helping somebody else. But that win, no matter what it is, it's very recognizable.
Yeah, and those are pretty positive directions, seeking the dopamine. But when you have those high stakes that military personnel do sometimes, and then you try to replace that, most things are going to come short.
Right.
I should say many things are going to come short. And so not just the positive aspects, because we're going to talk about some of the positive aspects that you're doing with your work. But this is where sometimes looking for that dopamine, this is where sometimes they do go down that slippery slope. And whether it's abuse of drugs or alcohol, or even we had an episode on cheaters one time. There's dopamine rushes when, oh man, I hope I don't get caught. Right.
Oh, wow.
Type of thing. Right. But it's truth. So those 5 things, winning often delivers status, safety, identity, belonging, and dopamine rushes. And so the talking point that we want to talk about is the danger when winning, it actually becomes your worth.
Sure.
I think that
becomes your identity.
That's anti-healthy.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because sometimes that also coincides with...
It's an addiction. It can be an addiction.
Yeah, where winning at all costs is kind of synonymous with like...
Look at our corporatist society.
Asshole, right? Yeah. We have enough assholes out there. We don't want any more. And so what I want to do at this point is let's go ahead and introduce Andrei's story. Okay, so now you grew up, as you mentioned, in Southern California. Yes. And which sports did you play again?
I played 3 major sports: basketball, baseball, football.
So the big 3. The big 3 or the big 4?
Yeah,
hockey's in there too, but in the West Coast,
I stayed pretty active with sports. Really leaned into football.
What position did you play?
I was a receiver.
Oh,
I was a
that's
receiver,
why
yeah.
you asked me. See, this guy is an example why the scholarships are very limited coming out of high school, because they look at somebody like this and say, "Oh, this little 5'9" guy." So
Yeah.
wide receiver.
I was
so
a
good.
wideout. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. I was a wideout. Loved sports. Played sports from the time I was 7 all the way through high school. Played dual sports in high school. I would leave practice and go to another practice. So I stayed pretty active with sports. So I'm very familiar with the locker room looks like, and playing with the try hard guys who probably didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but they were extremely reliable. So I'm very familiar with the team dynamic sense.
Now, after high school, did you continue playing, or did you go into the military? Tell us about that little juncture.
No, I didn't continue on playing sports. I actually went into the Navy shortly after graduating high school. I wanted to get out of my situation and kind of see the world, and the Navy offered that to me. So I shipped off to Great Lakes, got my first orders to Dam Neck, Virginia. Was in Dam Neck, Virginia for about a year and a half with my operations specialist training out there, and then took orders to San Diego. Finished up the rest of my career in San Diego, been to 37 different countries,
Wow.
3 different commands. The last command I was on was the LHD 6 Bonhomme Richard, which is now sitting in the bottom of San Diego Bay, which is odd because I helped single-handedly with my shipmates keeping that ship afloat, and now it's at the bottom of San Diego Bay. But rest in peace to Bonhomme Richard, all my sailors who sailed with me on that ship, my golden seabacks and my shellbacks out there. Yeah, got out of the military, decided to work for myself. I started a fitness company called Bodyfly with another fellow sailor.
Now, where are you living here when this is happening?
I was living in San Diego when I
Okay,
started that
okay.
company. And it actually brought me here to Reno. I did my first run of manufacturing in Sparks.
What year was this?
This was in 2015, 2016.
So the first time you were ever Reno is 2015?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And I actually went into production over at Trip Plastics.
Oh, yeah.
With Warren Tripp. And
so you know Earl then?
Yeah. They actually helped build my first prototypes for the Bodyfly and did my first production run. I sold my shares of that company to my partners and then jumped into corporate America after. And I did logistics for the better part of 8-9 years, and then started Aces in Places.
I love it. Now that's next on my notes here. So Aces in Places. So anybody that wants to check it out, acesinplaces.golf. Is the name of the company Aces in Places Golf?
acesinplaces.golf.
That's a website.
Aces in Places is the name of the company. Yes.
Oh, so acesinplaces.golf is the website. So you guys go check that out. This is a veteran-led mobile sports simulation in the Reno Lake Tahoe area. Primarily the corporate, he's going to be working with the corporate team building, military events, golf training. We're going to have him on the Military Matters show and podcast here pretty soon. But I would imagine it kind of like any kind of party, any kind of like recreational type of thing. We're going to go see if we can get him parked in front of the
team building events.
Riverfest coming up.
Yeah. Birthdays, weddings, bar mitzvahs.
So it's like a mobile
It's
golf,
a
mobile virtual golf.
He's got a big trailer and the little portable tents. So it's dependent on how big the event is. But we've had, our things with golf after playing competitive sports. Art's involved with it right now. It's taken over his life. No, I'm just kidding. But tell us about the moment that you realized golf became your quote new mission after military and athletics. So tell us about that moment.
Absolutely. I didn't really know golf was this impactful on my life until I slowed down enough to really take a look at my life. I struggle with some things that I go to the VA for that they tend to try to Band-Aid with medications and stuff like that. They don't work. I'm just going to say that right now. I've never been one as an athlete. I've never been one to take a bunch of pills and try to find those quick fixes to kind of Band-Aid certain things. So what I was doing was daily, I would go out to the driving range and I'd take my clubs after work and I'd go and decompress and just hit balls. I'd put my headphones in and I'd hit balls. And I did that for a solid year and a half to almost 2 years of just going out there, kind of teaching myself how to swing a club and really turn the mind off. It took me making some really, really life-looking, self-reflecting moments to understand that it was golf that was actually helping me.
What part, how did it help you?
Well, when I put a golf club in my hand, there's nothing else that I think about. You have so many different variables that you're already trying to overcome when it comes to the game of golf, that you don't really have time to think about how your day was before you got there, how your day's going to be when you leave there.
Or you shouldn't be thinking about that if you want a good score
Exactly.
on your scorecard.
Exactly.
You gotta clear your mind. I hear what you're saying.
Exactly. And there was this competition and fire within myself to get better at it. And anytime you want to get better at something, you really have to focus and you have to understand that, okay, if I'm holding the club this way, this is the effect that I get. What am I doing differently that allowed that ball to take flight and carry that many yards? How did it hook? What was I doing differently? So it really keeps you engaged in that
Science,
aspect.
physics,
Oh yeah.
all of that.
All the stuff, all the sciences. The game is built around numbers.
Now, it's interesting as I'm listening to you, it seems like you came full circle from where you were at one point in athletics before you go into the military. And now you're tapping back into what must have been an inner competition with yourself in order to be so good at all those sports. So
Absolutely.
now it was golfing. And you were reconnecting with that love of competition.
Yes.
And winning.
Yes. And the competition's against myself.
Exactly. Which is different.
It's
because
very
it's
different,
not, you
yeah.
could play against somebody else in team and tournaments, but if you don't deal with that inner battle with
Yeah.
yourself and getting at least as good as you potentially could. Art, now where are you at in your golf journey? Catch us up. Why are you laughing?
Some help from Andrei. Let me first acknowledge, hey, what a great response to that question. And kudos to you for finding something natural and organic to help you with therapy and dealing with your trauma, whatever you've gone through, man. Good deal there. Golf is such an amazing mental game. It just is. It comes and it goes. My A game shows up whenever it wants. I like what Tiger said, you better work on your B game because you never know when your A game is going to show up. But I still find a way to enjoy it, just like you, Andrei. I find a way to get out there, even though I'm just going to the driving range and swinging the club and looking at the cause effect. Like you, when I'm there, I'm dialed in on that. And if I can't be, then I get out of there because you're not going to affect your golf game without being very, very intentionally and mentally. But yeah, it is a great game. And when you figure some things out that you can rely on and take out to the golf course under pressure and make it happen, that's a big win right there.
Huge.
Love it.
Amen.
So, Kel, how many rounds of golf have you played?
Real golf?
Yeah.
None. I've never played real golf. I played miniature golf, which
Okay.
I despise.
And you despise that?
I tried real golf once. We were the first hole. I swung once.
Uh-huh.
I hurt myself and lost the club. I said, fuck this.
Oh,
I will
yeah.
never do this again.
Yeah, you had
It's
a
the
negative
stupidest thing ever.
You had a negative experience.
Hideously negative.
You had a negative experience.
What's funny is I think everybody has had those same thoughts playing golf. At some point in time.
It's like Robin Williams said, the reason that they didn't call golf fuck is because the word was already taken. It's already taken. So hey, Kel, Art, this is Dre's first time on the show. I don't know whether we should be introducing laughing crickets to him, but I mean, we got to do what we got to do. Dre, sometimes we talk about serious shit. So just to kind of lighten up the mood a little bit, laughing crickets, we started doing this, and Kel is doing what she normally does. She's
trying to get the damn Facebook post up.
Yep, that's what she's always doing. When about half an hour into the show, she's doing her Facebook and YouTube. This first one, Kel, I picked this one out for you.
Okay.
Because we're talking about what's the matter with winning.
Okay.
So have you ever imagined what you'd do if you won the lottery? Look at her face. You gotta look at her face sometimes, Jay.
I know exactly what I do.
Well, This first joke's about winning the lottery.
Okay.
This woman gets home one day and just screeches her car into the driveway and runs into the house, slams the door and shouts out to the top of her lungs. She's just like, honey, pack your bags. I won the damn lottery. And he says, oh my God, no shit. What should I pack? Like beach stuff, mountain stuff? And his wife yells back, it doesn't matter. Just get the fuck out. I knew she would like that for some reason. I don't know.
Great.
Oh, man. So, woo. All right, second one. Okay, now this man playing golf. This man's playing golf, and he'd never played the golf course before. And he's by himself, and he at one point lost track of which hole he was on. So he looks around and he sees this woman on the next hole. And it turns out that she goes up to him on the next hole and says, hey, which hole am I on? And she goes, well, this is the 7th and you're a hole behind. So you're on the 6th hole. And then he says, hey, thank you. And so he returns to playing golf. And so it turns out, Kel, that this guy thought she was pretty hot. Right. Okay. So he's a little bit smitten by this lady on the golf course, right? He decides to talk to her again after a few more holes that he played. He goes up to her and says, hey, I'm sorry to ask again, but could you tell me what hole I'm on again right now? And then she just smiles. She's a nice lady. And so she goes, this is the 13th hole I'm on. So you're a hole behind. And so you're on number 12. So he thanks her and then he invites her to lunch and she accepts. After the round's over, they're at the table getting to know each other and everything. And the man asks her, so what do you do for work? And she blushes and you have to promise not to laugh. No, I'm not going to laugh. So she reveals, I manage a tampon factory. So the guy immediately falls out of his chair laughing. And she's, you promised. She's all embarrassed and he gets up and he explains, no, it's not that. It's just, I work in a toilet paper factory, so I'm still a hole behind.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Now, good thing they don't work at the same company.
That's pretty bad.
You know, he'd get called into HR.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a hole behind.
Art, are you doing okay after that one?
Goodness.
I'm a bit behind.
Well, now I couldn't resist the golf references for the jokes. So one more, Cal.
Yes.
Again, I apologize, but this one, he's still thinking about it. A little bit long, but so this woman joins a country club and she hears these guys talking about their golf round. She says, I used to play on a women's college golf team and I was pretty good. Do you guys mind if I join you next week? And nobody. I don't know if you've ever played with women golfers, but yeah, but no one wants to say yes, but they're on the spot. So they go, okay, well, we start at 6:30 a.m. and they figured the early tea time is going to discourage her. And she's, oh, no, that sounds cool. I may be 15 minutes late. And then her eyes roll like, okay, whatever. So she's there at 6:30, though, on time. Sharp. Beats all of them in an eye-opening 2 under par round, Dre.
Wow.
2 under par. And she's a lot of fun and real pleasant. So the guys actually are really impressed with her. So they congratulate her and invite her back the next week after they didn't want her to play. So she smiled and said, I'll be there. I'll be there at 6:30 or 6:45. Next week shows up again. She's 6:30 sharp. She ain't late. And only this time she plays left-handed. 3 guys are tripping out. They're incredulous because she beats them this time even par, playing with her offhand. And they're just totally amazed. They can't figure her out. But she's pleasant and she's gracious. And so they invite her back again. But each man harbors this burning desire inside to beat her. Because they want to win. Tell me that wouldn't be the truth. I've lost to a woman golfing one time on the last round. She made a 5-footer. I know what it feels like. But I was impressed. Anyway, 3rd week, she's 15 minutes late. Now this pisses the guys off. That irritates them. This week she's playing right-handed, but this time she just narrowly beats them. She just barely beats them. And they are grumbling, hey, you know what? I think you're late. Your lateness kind of affected things and, you know, you're charming and complimentary, but, you know, she's just, I don't know what to say, guys, but hey, let's have a couple beers in the clubhouse. And finally, one man asked her, how do you decide which way you're going to play golf, right-handed or left-handed? How do you know what are you going to do that day? And she starts blushing. Well, she says, it's all because of my dad. When he taught me to play golf, I learned that I was ambidextrous at a very early age, Cal. And that's why I like to switch back and forth. And then when I got married, out of college, I discovered that my husband always sleeps in the nude. And then from then on, I developed this silly little habit. Right before I leave in the morning to play golf, I pull the covers off of him. And if his little willy points to the right, I play right-handed. And if it points to the left, I golf left-handed. The guys think this is hysterical. They're astonished. So one of the guys eventually says, what if it's pointing straight up? And then she says, well, then that's when I'm going to be 15 minutes late.
Amen.
That's cute. Those were cute.
Oh my gosh, we finally get through that. That's a lot of work. So let's get back to the main matter now. Competition, winning, losing, pressure, and identity. Let's talk to Dre about the competitor mindset. I try to ask thought-provoking questions. I try. So in your experience, what's the difference between a healthy competitive drive and then that win at all cost toxic scoreboard identity people have? You know anybody like that? Don't mention names.
Yeah, no, I do. Actually,
do you really?
There's a few faces that just popped into my head.
Interesting.
There you go.
Interesting.
No, there's definitely a difference between that toxic needing to win all the time personality trait. It's in a lot of athletes, right? You have to be a different type of personality to really lean in on winning all the time. I feel like losing comes hand in hand with winning, and it's important.
It's very important.
I think that when you have that toxic trait of wanting to win all the time, I think that's very telling of people's character. It's not something that I believe in personally, but I think that you also have to be able to take those non-winning times and moments and take them in stride.
Yeah, not only take them in stride and with grace, but also be happy for the winner.
Can you guys talk to every single parent that has kids in youth sports, please?
Right?
Yeah,
seriously.
That'd be good.
Well, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. That's where it starts. Starts with the parental ego and the kid having to perform to please the parents.
Yeah. Well, your point, after I played and coached, I officiated for 7 years in high school and college. And then when you're at that level, then you're teaching the guys new in the association. So they would have this large annual Pop Warner tournament in Las Vegas. And I don't even work this type of stuff anymore, but I went down there to have fun for a few days, hang out with the guys in the association. So there was this one game where this kid just got demolished. It happens. It happens.
Absolutely.
And then little Johnny finds out that I don't really like football. Okay. And so the sport has a weeding out process.
Absolutely.
So that's what happened. The kid was on the ground. Parents started freaking out. That was an illegal hit. La, 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 la. So I listened to a little bit of it, but they just kept going on and on. So and there was a timeout. And so I just turned around to them, about 15 parents that were standing there. I'm like, hey, you guys, listen, you didn't know this. I coached for a very long time after playing. And what you're doing right now, you're teaching your kids that when things don't go your way, criticize, condemn, and complain. Instead of telling little Johnny, hey, that's all right. Remember, we told you this is going to be part of it. You know, you can do this, or be encouraging, but you tell them when things don't go your way, you're teaching that. This one guy in the back just started slow clapping.
Yes.
Like, that was awesome, ref. And he goes, he's right. And boom, my job was done. I turned around and the game went on.
Good for you.
In some cases, losing makes you a better winner.
Absolutely.
It gives you things to work on.
Of course.
Yeah.
You don't know
like
what
when
you
fall
don't know.
short.
And you don't know what your deficiencies are until you hit them and they affect you. Consequences are a thing. And we suffer from a lot of non-consequence in this society right now.
And in sports, there's an old saying that if you're wanting a scholarship, you better believe when you're on the couch, there's somebody else out there working out.
Somebody's doing. Yes. Yes.
Back to golf. What does golf teach that other sports don't, especially about patience, failure, self-control?
I think you said it all right there.
I think so too. I think so too. It's kind of inherent.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it in a nutshell. And perseverance. You have to have the memory of a goldfish, because you can step up to swing, biff a ball, and then the next time you step back up to the ball to re-hit it, you have to act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, you got to be able to flush your last shot especially if it was negative, right? If it was just like, because it's part of the game.
You
can't escape it.
Sports, I mean, with anything, but sports in particular, there's a huge mental aspect to it. And golf in particular is far more a mental game than it ever is a physical game.
Oh, yeah.
Not only do you have to know the sport and your body and the rules and all that, you have to know physics and geometry, for God's sake.
Yeah. In some instances, you might have 14 different clubs that are in your bag, and they all do something
different.
Now, you guys, we all have one thing in common, many things in common, but one of the things that we have in common is we don't want to get enjoyment out of somebody else's failure.
Right.
But Art, talk to me about this. When you're watching a professional golf tournament and they shank it, or if they're getting a quadruple bogey on a hole, tell me that you ain't happy. Tell me you ain't happy. That's someone else's failure.
Depends on who they are.
Right. It really does.
This
is an interesting point. This is interesting. Go ahead. I'm going to hear this.
I've had some amazing opportunities to play with some outstanding golfers, and watching them handle adversity or when they get in trouble is where you see the amazing game being played, because what they can do from there, you're thinking they're in trouble, but they're so good. They're so creative.
Mm-hmm.
They eliminate the worst case scenario first because they're doing a lot of thinking. And then they come up with something that's probably going to be better than your shot, even though you landed right in the middle of the fairway. I mean, that's how amazing it can be when you're seeing somebody that really knows the game. It's unlike any other game, like baseball. Baseball, the lines all are always the same, regardless. Distances are a little bit different, but each golf course is a different course.
Yeah. That's a good
and
point.
The conditions are changing, the temperature is changing,
the wind,
type of grass, the lines, for both your feet and where the ball's lying. And that's what captivates former athletes, is because it challenges us like no other game, because it doesn't matter how big and strong you are or how short and fat you are. There's people that they put the work in, and some people are just special. Now, how about this? When you lose, what's the fastest way to turn that loss into data and not shame?
Run out to the driving range.
There you go. You hit on it, right? If you have a coach, your coach is going to let you know what you need to work on. That's their job. And if they don't, then unfortunately they may not care enough about you as a player to spend the time, or maybe they've lost interest in coaching you because you're never on time to practice. All coaches are not made the same, but I digress. So the data part, especially about golf, and this is where I was telling you, Dre, about this book, The 10 Mental Keys to Golf, is this sports psychologist evolved from Olympic athletes into specifically with golf. His basic thing was keeping track. There's 4 things. Of course, you got your fairways and regulation, greens and regulation, how many ups and downs you have, and then putts. Those 4 things, keep track of them. General rule is always spend twice as much time on your chipping and putting than you do on your irons and your drivers. But keeping track of those statistics will let you know where to focus your time when you are on the driving range. Obviously, if you're, say, 32 putts around is not good.
Right.
But 26, that's pretty good. So if you got 26 putts and then your score is still, say, higher than it should be, okay, what else happened? Oh, hit it in the water here, whatever. So it's a breakdown thing. The point is, when you lose, fastest way, especially with golf, is to turn your losses into that data.
Yeah.
So you get something out of it even on a bad day.
Absolutely.
Now, open-ended question. What's the most dangerous lie that athletes tell themselves about winning?
That it's the only thing.
I like it, because I've definitely heard that. It's the most important
not everything.
thing.
It's not
winning is the most important thing.
It's the only thing. Yeah.
Winning is everything.
Yeah. I've never agreed with that. I'm not terribly competitive unless you hook me into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know
like
what I mean?
Bingo?
It's not so much bingo, but like I want everybody to win. You know what I mean? I'm that type.
Yeah.
But sometimes in relationships or in certain circumstances and situations. There'll be dynamics. It won't be like a direct challenge.
Oh, don't think we ain't talking about that today. That's in the last segment.
There's that subtle,
yeah,
manipulative shit that people will pull.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, all right, I see what you're doing. You think you're being slick and nobody sees you. I'm going to run at you.
There's a difference though, because I think you're alluding to maybe kind of a negative spirit type of approach, whereas competition between me and my wife. There's definitely a competition, but we try to make it fun and we try not to get it too far or anything like that. And I've learned that phrase, just like, whatever you say, honey, whatever you say. And I'll smile. Yeah, I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. And so just give it to her. And Art actually made a very, very, very awesome comment perspective when he was in town a few trips ago. And we think we're funny. We're throwing these little jokes. Yeah. And we think that we're tossing this little fun little pebble at them. But when they get it, it's like a boulder.
Right.
And I was, ooh, that kind of hit. So thank you, brother, for that right there. You didn't think I'd remember that, huh? But let's talk about a little bit. Let's talk about winning as a team. And specifically now we're going to transition into a little bit of business and leadership. Andrei, military, of course. So you've already built, a team and established team culture. But how do you build a team culture where people push to win without tearing each other down? Is that even possible? The reason I ask that, just to kind of set the stage, is that being torn down is something that, as an athlete, that's what the coach does in the beginning. Sure. Like, you need to run faster.
Well, it's like, it's like muscles.
You're going to get pushed into the inside if you have that stance right there. So you're always being broken down. But how do you build a team culture in, say, a corporate setting, knowing that from a training standpoint, you got to kind of break them down?
No question.
You're not very articulate.
No question.
And that's a balancing act.
It's very interesting. It's a big balance. In corporate America nowadays, because of snowflake syndrome, you have to be really careful with that kind of thing because.
And this guy, as he's scaling the company out and bringing on staff, have you thought about that culture? Do you want to have people that have a thick skin and you can joke around as long as things are appropriate?
Of course.
I think that's what we like.
Right.
I alluded to that.
I think so too. Like, I love it. But I'm one of the guys. Yeah. In any environment like that, having grown up in hardcore corporate IT for decades.
Yeah, that's true.
It was, you fuck with me, I fuck back, especially back then.
Like a combination of Glenn Ross with the old, that classic Alec Baldwin getting sales type of, and Wall Street.
Well, yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Very, very much
that's like those two.
Wolf of Wall Street. Office Space is another really good.
But that's a fun part.
But it's
that's a fun part. Yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah.
If you take the humor out of all of it, I lived that. I actually built it. That was shot in Las Colinas, Texas.
Well, that's what they did in that movie. They roasted the
culture. And it was real. It was exaggerated, of course. I literally worked for a company that had TPS reports.
I got some cuts in on that one episode.
Yeah, that was great.
Let's promote this little love segment with Aces and Places and what it actually does. Great. Explain your mobile trailer, the simulator bays concept, and what do people experience when you show up to their event or their site?
So the trailer is extremely dramatic.
It is awesome.
And
I didn't go in. I saw it.
It's a custom built trailer from the ground up. It's 27 feet long, which doesn't sound like that big, but it's also 14 feet tall. It's a triaxle trailer. So it has to carry a lot of weight because there's dual slide outs. One slide out on each side that run the length of the trailer. So the trailer goes from roadworthy, road ready, 8 feet in width to 16 feet when it's fully deployed. Off the back of the trailer, I've got a 10-foot deck that folds out and turns into a lounge type area.
Yeah, I checked that out.
Which is inside the trailer, you'll find high quality simulator.
What's the size of the screen? I was wondering.
The screen is 10 by 16.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool experience. Inside, the walls are lined with sound dampening tiles. So it really creates that immersive studio type feel when you're inside of it. But the real kicker is it's not just golf. It's a multi-sport simulator.
Oh, really?
So you can play 29 different games inside this trailer.
Like what other ones? Like what? Like
football.
You can play football?
Baseball.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Like throwing it accuracy, you mean?
Oh, yeah,
Trying to hit the receiver going
absolutely.
across?
So you can pick routes for your receivers to run, and you line up with the football behind your offensive line, and you have a defensive line that's trying to come and get you when it's hiked, and then you hit your receivers in a route.
Are you hearing this?
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
I did not know about that.
Was this your concept?
That is phenomenal.
No, I didn't create the actual software. I just kind of put it all together.
No, but like the idea was yours.
Yeah, to make it mobile and
like you bought the trailer and designed it and all
custom,
that.
Yeah, it's a custom built trailer. Yeah, you won't find this. I'm still trying to get this trailer titled.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
And DMV doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, DMV doesn't know what to do with it. Yeah, they're putting me through the ringer on this thing. So baseball, home run derby, you could throw pitches.
Wow. All right. I'm already going to try to
even play cornhole.
Help him get.
Holy shit! Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about volleyball?
Cornhole.
What about
bowling? Skeet shooting.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
not with real shotguns.
Shooting. I give you a laser shotgun.
Yeah,
okay, that's
and you stand on a range and you hear pull and you shoot the skeets with.
Remember that old video game Duck Hunt?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's what it's kind of like.
I love it.
That's what it's kind of like.
Oh yeah.
So you mentioned corporate team building. We talked about franchising. You want to do some military events, training with analytics. What's your most popular use case so far? What are people gravitating towards?
Right now, I'm really trying to get people away from the dramatic trailer because it is very interesting. More into my membership-based portable bays. So less dramatic than the trailer, but the same effect. I can put these portable bays in your living room. I can park one in your backyard, in your driveway, and everything that these bays come with is a membership. So
I could.
How much does something like that run?
So I have different tiers of membership.
$1 million.
How much is like a session on the trailer? Say you're at Hot August Nights.
Hot August Nights, if somebody were to pay me to come out to do an event like that, I have half day, full day rentals that are standard.
Okay, so it's so don't like go to like an event and park there and then charge people a session fee to come play it. Somebody has to contract you to be at the event and pay you.
You're talking like a per diem thing? Like you're saying, just like, as a walk-in?
Like if I was a food truck or something and people will just cruise up and say, hey, I want to play. And then is that what you mean?
Yeah. You'd set it up like the old Midway with the games that they used to have, the old analog type stuff. But I'm thinking something like that. Where
how many golf courses are on the software?
Right now I've got about 1,200 golf courses.
1,200. What's some of the more famous golf courses that are on there?
Oh, everybody wants to play 7 on Pebble Beach. Yeah. Everybody wants to play that one.
That's a little par 3 downhill, 100
downhill. Yeah, with the crazy side winds that come.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to play that one for some reason. Yeah.
Have you played Edgewood yet?
Edgewood, no. Actually, my buddy's 42nd birthday is coming up in September, and we're actually getting on Edgewood's.
Good.
For the first time.
If you're a bogey golfer, don't get mad. Don't get mad, because I know that you want to break 100. But that's one of those days where if you break 100, you're going to be happy.
Oh yeah,
you'll be happy. It's an amazing piece of property. Okay, so lightning round here. Well, is this smart or stupid? The first two is going to be Dre and Art. Smart or stupid? Dre, playing through injury.
Stupid.
Art, what do you think?
Depends on the injury, though.
That's true, huh?
It really does. I think it depends on the injury in the sport and what's
potential
ahead.
long-term damage. Yeah, but for the most part, I'd say stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've played through many games with my fingers taped together because
exactly. A slightly separated shoulder. I got my thumb; it's still swollen. See that the difference in my thumb? Got caught in an ear hole doing a swim technique.
Oh yeah. That happened.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I think if you're playing through injury, it also says something about the athlete as well, because I've been in situations where I don't feel well today and I can sit out, or I can show up for my teammates.
And there's of course managing your injury too. So Art, you said, was that smart or stupid? Playing through an injury.
I think it depends, but being cautious would be the first rule. Rushing to put somebody out there to add more injury.
See, I was just dumb. It was because of Richard, because I told you, Cal, about the hitting drill when my head felt like it was exploding. And I told Coach before I got down for the tackle drill, I was 8th grade. Coach, I got a headache. And he's like, you what? Yeah, Coach, I got a headache. Hold on. Hey, everybody. So he calls me out in front of the team. So he goes, go back to the back of the line. You let me know when you want to play some football. So it taught me you don't say anything. You just suck it up. And there was somebody pointed out there's probably a few concussions that I suffered. Maybe that explains a lot. Cal, this one's for you. Is this smart or stupid to keep score in relationships?
I just watched that in real time.
I love her so much. Like this is her facial expressions are just awesome. All right, so now expand on that. I'm thinking she's saying yes, it's okay to keep score in relationships.
Yeah.
All right, so let's explain.
What the professional answer
Explain, Lucy.
would of course be no. You should never do that.
Right? Yeah. But the candid, yeah. Let's be candid.
But do I? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because I give more.
Oh,
I always give more. Always.
that's true. We talked about that a little bit.
I have to keep score. Otherwise, I will lose.
Because it's like you're
everything.
giving that good faith up front. Like
Exactly.
said sometimes.
that
just
that
like,
bullshit that we were sold as kids, that it always comes back to you. Always
Yeah.
give, always give. You
Yeah.
know, no, bullshit. That's a fat lie. It's an absolute
All right.
lie. People
All
will
right.
steal from you.
this is for everybody. Okay. Is this smart or stupid? Talking trash.
It's healthy.
Yeah. Talking about what's the matter with winning.
There's a difference between banter and degrading. I think it's healthy, especially in a competition setting, in a competitive setting.
If you know how to use it properly.
Correct.
If you don't let it get to you.
Correct. And you also know who you can do it to,
Yes.
if that makes sense. So you have
Yep.
to have some kind of emotional intelligence to be able to participate. in
We
something like
used
that.
to
Yeah.
not be able to do it though. Our coach, like, if you get called for unsportsmanlike conduct, you're on the bench. So let's go back to the huddle. Finish the play, go back to the huddle.
Overall,
It's changed.
see, I think that's the problem. It has
yeah.
changed.
Yep.
And now what happens is you get the pile-on effect.
Mhm.
It isn't just one dude going, hey, batter, hey,
But
batter.
I think
You know,
the thing is,
like one starts and the rest of the team, you get that collective energy.
I think at a high level, you would trash talk, first of all, because it's allowed. Second, if you could do anything to get into your opponent's head, and as long as you're having fun and you're not doing something stupid, there are some things that will get you a flag if you say the wrong things, even in the NFL. But I think it's smart. Do a little trash talking. What do you think, Art? You ever talk smack?
It wasn't my strong trait, my personality, but you're absolutely right. It can give you an edge if you're Larry Bird and great at it, and then can back it up, because guys are still talking about the stuff that he would do. But it's something that you got to be good at and then back it up. Otherwise, it can really backfire on you. You can develop a reputation too that's not necessarily very positive, where that trait becomes the predominant identification as compared to your game.
Exactly. And as you know, Larry Bird, what a great example of a trash talker. And the guys that he would be doing this to marveled at what he did after he would talk that trash.
I like listening to Shaq and Charles Barkley talk.
Those guys are great.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Chuck,
You know,
it's like barbecue chicken, Chuck.
yeah. And they're getting an actual fight. And then Charles' mom's calling, Jack, you know, look.
It's funny.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
It's
Once you
funny,
get
yeah.
the mom involved, you know, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. All right. So now, what's the matter with winning? Is this smart or stupid when you post every win that you get online? You're always,
So
I did
dumb.
this, I did that.
No
you know, like,
way.
check this out, check that out.
No, I like to win in silence.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
to win in silence.
Quiet assassin.
Yeah, I like to have my wins, and if you find out about them, cool. But I like to win in.
And business is different because you're promoting. It's a different beast.
Sure.
You know, so
Yeah.
we're talking more personal stuff. Art, what about you? What about people that post all their wins every time they have this perceived win? They're always online letting people know about it.
That's just childish. When you're a kid, you need a lot of affirmation. You get all the yays, I win. But time goes on. If I can't think of a good reason to do that, I'd rather have somebody else talk about my talent, my abilities, and what I'm doing than post.
There you go. Now, you guys contrast this. We talked about having to go out to the range or whether it's football, running, doing push-ups, road work when you're boxing, whatever it is. Even if you're just wanting to live healthier, right? There's this athletic performance you have to deal with. So practicing fundamentals, which can be boring, versus where you have these shortcuts to where it is that you're wanting to go. So working out in a gym, going to the gym that Dre does every day, putting the work in versus say cheating with some supplements or steroids, which is a hack.
Yeah, there's no substitute. They always say that the quickest route from A to B is a straight line. But there's traveling that needs to be done in between that line. And I think that is what you're doing it for. I'm terrible at golf. But I get up and I'm at the range at 7 a.m. And there are guys out there at Wolf Run that'll confirm this. I'm out there every morning at 7 a.m. and I hit 100 balls. And that's before I go work out. And that's just to get my mind right.
Don't hit balls after you work out. Yeah, learn that, right?
Yeah. But I do that because the love that I have for the game and what it's done for me in my personal life.
And you have a vision too.
Yes.
So what's next goal with your handicap?
To learn what it means.
Shut up. That's an inside joke there. I'll tell you guys about that. This is funny. Now, lightning round, smartest, stupid. This is the last one. When people say second place is for the first loser, what do you think about that?
No, I disagree with that.
It's funny though.
It's true.
Technically, it's true, but it's kind of a funny phrase where there's many references to that, and Talladega Nights is one.
I like to think of it like the Game 7 World Series. The winner of the World Series goes on to celebrate. But that team that they played all the way to Game 7, that was a really good team.
Oh,
a really good team. Yeah. They beat everybody else.
They say that's the hardest thing is to make it right to the chip. There's some people that say I'd rather lose in the playoffs or not make the playoffs than to make it there right on the doorstep.
And play 7 games and then
that's
lose.
a hard thing to swallow.
Oh, my God.
But still, you have to find a way to really understand that however many teams there are in the league, there are a lot of other teams that would love to be there.
Yeah, right.
To
be
just
on that
have
stage.
the chance, right? You can't win it if you're not in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Some losses are better than many wins. It's kind of like that par that you scrambled to make. You're more excited about it walking off the green than you were the birdie that you got the hole before because of what you had to do to accomplish it. So when you see great progress against a worthy opponent and you can see that there has been progress there, you'd be foolish not to realize that and know that you're on the right track. But there's always going to be somebody better than you. And that's the measurement. But that's how you define the loss. I mean, if you knew you just didn't show up and didn't participate, that's just a loss that you can't really take. But ethics are so important. I would rather lose with ethics and integrity anytime and walk away knowing I did my best than to win by cheating. That's just winning by cheating is a loss to me right from the get-go. It's a deep loss, not just the outcome.
Absolutely. Not just how you feel, but your reputation. And it gives you this false sense of security in many ways, because one of these days you're either going to get caught or they're going to make some rule to stop you from doing that. So quick sponsor spot here. I set this aside. A little love for Andrei to taking the time coming down here and telling us about his company. So how do people get in touch with Aces in Places?
Yeah, acesandplaces.golf. Our website is up and live. I do believe we have social media. I'm really bad at the whole social media things. Outsource that, but you can find us on Instagram, Facebook. We're easily accessible. If you call me, I will answer. 775-406-ACES.
Say that again.
And that's 775-406-ACES, ACES. Really easy to get a hold of me. Check out the website. You'll see the dramatic Ace One trailer, and follow us on social media. We've got a lot of events coming up. We're actually having our launch party this Sunday at Reno Bar and Grill. Shane, the owner over there, is hosting our launch party. So I will have the trailer out there for people to come by and take a swing and see what it's all about.
I love it. All right, let's talk about in this next segment here, winning in dating and marriage. A couple of talking points I have here. It's been so long since I've been dating. Kel, you're kind of in that world every once in a while right now. Do you still have the guy that you met over in South Carolina? Kicked him to the curb, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I had to let that go.
But how I'm talking about, let's say you like somebody. So you want to win them over. And by trying to win them over, it can become a performance.
Absolutely.
Instead of you being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people do that, because eventually your true colors are going to show.
It's amazing to me. It's like people who use filters or old pictures on a dating profile. I'm going to find out. You know what I mean? It's weird out there. It's really freaking weird. I'm not on any of the apps anymore. I tried that for like a week and a half, and it was just so horrible.
Art, and you're out there. What do you think about the winning them over can potentially become performative? You have a new project. I mean, tell everybody, how is your fans only page going?
You know, this is a really good question, because I think healthy competitive ways can really bring out the best in a relationship. But unhealthy, when I feel like the gal that I'm dating feels like she needs to compete with me, that's a turnoff for me, because she feels like maybe she's not enough. But I'd have to ask her what this is all about. But healthy competition is spicy. I think it adds spice to the relationship if you're both enjoying it. Now, if only one is enjoying it, then that's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's talk about how long-term winning in a relationship equals when both people win. This isn't a time where there has to be a winner and a loser. Mm-hmm. Both win.
Well,
do this thing.
You're on the same team. So when you get into people get into these fights, disagreements about stuff, and it turns into you versus me instead of us versus the problem.
And sometimes they want to win so bad that a lot of times their train of thought, they'll forget what
they're even doing. What
like, and it just goes down this like all over the place like a maze. So now also let's talk about losing a fight versus winning the relationship. We originally got this framed as winning them over. So I think that's probably one of the best things that I've learned is catchphrase of pick your battles.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Everything's small stuff.
Yeah.
And I think a deal that I've made is, for the most part, I'm just going to concede, because for the most part, most everything's not a big deal. Yeah. Whatever you want, honey. And then, but if there is a time where I kind of put my proverbial foot down and I'm making a point, is at least pay more attention to that, because I'm always not sweating the small stuff.
Yeah.
And so, not saying that you automatically have to just concede or default, but it would be nice.
You can get too into being the bigger person, and all of a sudden you're just kind of sloughing everything off and letting everything ride, and then all of a sudden people are walking all the hell over you.
Right.
You know, I don't do that anymore either.
Yeah.
I used to do
and
that
could
all
happen.
the time.
That could happen if you don't watch out.
Mm-hmm.
So now, have you ever seen someone win the person and then lose themselves?
Oh,
I think that's in a lot of relationships.
Oh, that's very common.
Right.
Yeah.
Very common.
Because they want that win. They want to win that person over. And then
they
all
want
of a sudden,
something about that person that they're so
it's like the classic thing where your homies are like finally getting to see you after 6 months, and they're just like, "You've changed, man." Mm-hmm. Is that Cheech and Chong?
Yeah. That's a big issue. That happens very, very often.
Yeah, I think it's very tough to like maintain and keep who you are as a person when you go into a relationship.
Have you been married?
I was married. Yes.
You have been married.
Before,
okay,
yeah.
so you have a point of reference.
Yeah.
What does winning look like in a winning marriage? Winning look like in a healthy marriage, related to trust, repair, consistency. Because of course, trust, you got to be able to trust somebody. So that's a no-brainer. But when these situations come where you just want to win that argument, or you want to win that point of view, guilty. right here, right? But then afterwards, and Art, maybe you can comment on this. How important after that game you and your significant other just got through, and whoever won, how important is it that you guys have a process to repair?
Critical.
Talk about that, Art.
That has to be a forethought, especially if you're competitive by nature. But I like win-win scenarios. I always have. And I think in most cases, they're very, very possible. That's my optimistic thinking. But you mentioned just a little while ago about seeing somebody who lost themselves by winning the person. I've seen myself do that a few times. So like Kel, I'm far more attentive to me and my processes and what I'm doing now than them. But while you're dating, you got to know whether she's extremely competitive and how she handles wins and losses, and then how you will do that. If you're both in love, then how do you incorporate that? Because love should be enough. You just got to have the right tools to make it happen. If you really love and respect somebody, then you want them to win.
That's such a
good.
Disney delusion. Oh, love will conquer all, and if we just love each other enough, no, that's bullshit.
It's work.
It's absolute work, and it all starts out in the beginning, and it's all fantasy, and you're still in the honeymoon thing and the possibilities, and as soon as you solidify it, if you're not conscious of the fact that it's a different game now. If you take it from just casual dating and hanging out and doing your thing to a solid committed relationship, that's different than what you just came from. And I think people get this idea that they can have this fun all the time and we're always having a good time and going out and this and that and the other. And then they get into the day-to-day life and they forget to date each other. You get caught up in the minutia of dealing with everything, and then you're taking it out on each other because you're all that's there. And you take on things together that you haven't planned for necessarily, kids, pets, cars, big expenses, that kind of thing, that at the time, in the moment, you're like, oh, and then reality hits and people haven't thought it through. I'm constantly amazed when I see the stupid shit people do in relationships out of sheer delusion. And this is what were you thinking?
And this is all to say, everybody listening to the show, if there's anybody out there that's thinking about getting married, what Kel is basically saying is,
don't do it.
I'll do that again.
There you go. There you go.
Watch out, you better be scared. No, there's no guarantees in life. And number one cause of divorce is marriage.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
And of course, there's somebody that's done it a couple times. So Art, put on your life coach lens. Why do people chase wins or winning? Is it for status, safety, or validation?
I think all the above. I think there's stages that we go through where that is a priority. Most of us do, but for some, it becomes their addiction.
Now, this one's a little bit deeper. What does losing expose? Ego, insecurity, or identity gaps?
First of all, exposes you personally. How you handle it, how you think, what you prioritize, how you prepared. If you prepared really, really hard for it, it's going to be a big toll on you. But then you have to ask yourself, how am I going to rebound? Or did I give my best effort? It's just that he or she, they had their day and I couldn't overcome that. I mean, there's so much there that you need to work out with your coach and ask yourself, were there areas there where I could have done better, or did I do the best I could? Sometimes the time runs out and they hit the winning shot. And unfortunately, you're the loser in that case. But honestly, the game just runs out of time sometimes, or innings. And for the winner, it goes on. Winners know they're going to win. They already feel it deep down inside. Where losers know they got to cheat or something.
Yeah.
Or they got to play somebody that's inferior to them. So that's why it does reveal who you are deep down inside and how you process win, lose, or draw. And how do you appreciate competition too?
Last question. What's a good strategy? How does a person detach their worth from outcomes? Like the book recommended to Andrei, in there it says, don't focus on the outcome, focus on mastering the process.
The outcome is just information.
Do you have any tools in your toolbox of how a person could detach their self-worth from whatever outcome they're working on?
Absolutely. This is a great question. Look, sports, the outcome is supposed to be trivial. That's what makes things fair. Whereas I give my very, very best effort against a worthy opponent, I have to intelligently give my worth based on my effort, preparation, and understanding of the situation. That's where I improve, because I will ask myself better questions that following week when I come to prepare. Is this the person that I am going to face again? Is this the standard that I have to come up to? So that's where I measure my worth, not the outcome of the game, because that can be trivial.
That's a really good point. It could be an
umpire who made a bad call. There's too much that can interfere with that. So, and worth is so important, because that's who you are in practice when you're preparing. I mean, that's your real worth, right? And that desire to prepare to win is more important than the desire to win.
Okay, Dre, quick hit. Under the flagship of competing with yourself, if you had to define true winning now as compared to when you were in high school playing those three sports, what would it be? What would your definition of true winning be now as compared to back then?
I think winning back then it was so simple, right? Now as an adult looking back, but it was so important when I was younger. Winning to me is getting out of bed in the morning. Having another day where I can go and do the things that I want to do and influence the people around me and help and provide and all those silly, selfless things. That's winning to me. That's what I define it as.
You're saying
today.
Getting another 24 hours.
That's important.
To give and do. I love that. Can you think of one moment where you lost and later it proved to be a win?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Relationships.
That comes to mind for me too.
Yeah.
I mean, all those losses brought me here today. Yeah. To this point, right here, right now. I think that losses I think I mentioned this earlier, they're learning experiences, and you have to learn from them. Whether or not you had any control over those losses or not, you have to take something from that. And I think there's value there. I can think of several losses that I've had in my time. I've had a car repoed from me when I was young, a car that I didn't need to buy, that I had no business buying. I was very young. I didn't need that car, but it definitely taught me something, right? It taught me a life lesson very early on.
It made you feel good temporarily. Yeah, and it fed your ego.
Oh, yeah.
We had an episode on copycats. So in some way, you were probably copying the success of others or trying to emulate it, before you were ready.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe had earned it.
Just living outside of my means.
And we've probably all done that.
Oh, yeah.
Those are lessons. I don't wish that on anybody to ever have to go through that type of loss, but there's definitely a nugget there that I learned very early on before I was 20 years old of what not to do.
I love it. I want to highlight in the next 5 minutes what Andrei's long-term goal is, and it's very philanthropic in that he just doesn't want to have this golf entrepreneurship and go out and golf courses. But he has something past that where he wants to offer and be part of a program with our veterans. Now you support the veterans, right,
100%.
Cal? Right, 100%.
Very much so.
So take about 3 minutes here, Dre. Talk about your veteran roadmap that you shared with me in the VA program that you want to turn this into.
I wish I had a little bit more time to tell you my journey and path.
Military Matters. You will be on that show.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we miss here, we'll get you made up.
It's such a daunting task to be an entrepreneur and start a business, period.
Okay.
There are resources out there that are dedicated and allocated to veterans to help them start a business. But they're terrible. I'm still waiting to hear back from my VR&E counselor that I signed up for in September of last year. I still haven't met them. They were supposed to help me start this business. So going through the processes, I've learned that these resources, yes, they are out there for veterans, but it's very hard to start a business. I've gone through all of the necessary steps to have my business certified as a VOSB business through the SBA. I'm SDVOSB certified through the SBA, and through Aces in Places' licensing program, veterans won't have to go through that process. So how I'm going to be serving the veterans in my community, golf has helped me out a lot. I can't express this enough. I'm going to make golf accessible to more veterans by setting up my portable bays at the VA for them to utilize. I'm gifting membership to Aces in Places to the VA here in Reno. I will be setting up bays at the VA once to twice a month, depending on how often they allow me to do that. But the veterans will be able to access golf at the VA free of charge.
I love it. And that's
Nice.
blocks away from where I live. So I definitely will be interested in helping you if needed at different times. As a tease, we're definitely going to be talking to Andrei more on the Military Matters podcast. We'll try to put some links up and feed you guys into that show. And Art, what do you think about that idea?
I think that's fantastic. I really, really commend the work that you're doing, Ray. And yes, you're right. It is daunting to be an entrepreneur in these ever-changing moments, especially when it comes to technology and what people are into, constantly shifting. It's tough, but I really commend that you're trying to combine your business work. I also offering, which I think is a great idea, great solution to help others, just like it helped you. Your personal testimony and what this did for you really, really probably helped pull you out of some very, very dark places. So I have nothing but praise for you there, buddy. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I certainly hope I can. Look forward to getting to know you a little bit better and seeing your trailer sometime in the near future.
Yeah, you can count on that. Just for everybody who was just listening, just to frame this clearly and properly, his plan is to build a portable simulator bay model, use it as adaptive sports therapy within the veteran community locally. He's going to document the outcomes, then pursue the broader funding licensing for other veterans. The VA Adaptive Sports Grant Program supports adaptive sports opportunities and outlines authorized activities like training, equipment, program development, and evaluation for these vets. And they also announced the availability of $16 million in adaptive sports grants as of April 9th, 2026. And to note, the program has been awarded over $160 million since the establishment of it. And so I think you're on the right track. We always try to put together a little toolbox, a toolkit for people with what we talk about. So win without losing yourself toolkit. First thing is to define your win as a process versus the outcome. No matter what the outcome is going to be, you have a win because you're actually doing something, you're taking action, you're involved in the process, something that's going to be moving you forward in a certain direction. Second thing, win without losing yourself. Number two, it's got to be completely clean, right? Your integrity is important. It's non-negotiable. Don't be getting involved with anything shady that's going to tarnish your reputation or hurt people. Number three, lose like a pro. Right? If things don't go your way, you get disappointed, ask for feedback. Hey man, would you mind letting me know where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Where can I improve? Where did I lose you? Not some sort of identity collapse, which happens, to us where you kind of forget, we're human, and when we have these triggers, sometimes, we falter, but always learning, always learning. Last thing, win without losing yourself toolkit. Number four, win with humility. Remember the Underdog cartoon, Sweet Polly Purebred? Yeah. Want to be humble and lovable. Yeah, my parents drilled that in me. You'd be like Underdog. And I was like, dang, I am an underdog. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Art, final thoughts.
When someone's in trouble, I am not slow. It's hip, hip, hip. Final thoughts. Man, this has been a great, great discussion. It's great to have this panel. It's really, really made me think, as being, a very competitive person in the past. All these things come back to mind. I'm not nearly as competitive as I used to be, G, because it interferes with my peace. So now I don't mind going down and watching guys shoot pool or, even right along the cart, but I do love to golf. But I don't need to win to validate where I'm at because I've worked so hard to be where I'm at. And I'd rather be doing something more philanthropic. Thank you. As Dre is talking about, that makes me feel better because other people are winning. I was a champion wrestler, and then I was champion on baseball teams. And I'll tell you what, I enjoyed those championships with teams because you help other people win too. And a winner always makes the people around them better as well. So there's just so much more to this. We'll have to do a follow-up on these topics.
Absolutely. Kel, what's your final thoughts on today's show?
I feel the same way Art does. I don't feel the need to get into competitions or prove myself with a win. I like to win. But I'm not looking for contests. I'm not looking for competition.
Right.
Like Art said, I'm win or no deal. I want everybody to win.
And it doesn't have to be competition and winning against somebody else. This could be within yourself.
I compete with myself all the time. That's my main competitor.
And I think that's very healthy.
Yeah, I do too.
Ray, what do you think? What are your final thoughts?
I love celebrating everybody else's wins. I like celebrating people in general. I think that, I like to win. Yes. It's not important. It's not the number one thing that drives me. Like I said, when I win, I like to take my W's in silence and move on to the next thing. So I think this was very constructive. It was recalibrating to hear all of this and everybody's opinions. So I appreciate you, G-Man. I really do.
Not a problem. My pleasure, man. Super, super nice meeting you too. Thank you for listening to episode 48 of What's the Matter podcast show. Today we tackle winning, why we chase it in competition, love, and life, what we really get out of it, and what losing can teach us if you're brave enough to learn. We talked about winning with integrity, losing without spiraling, and how the best kind of winning is the kind that doesn't cost you your character. A big thank you. Sponsor to World Matters Incorporated, the creator and producer of the show, Big Bongo Productions. Next week, we are back for episode 49. Cal, what's the matter with waiting? We're going to be exploring the weird tension of the unknown when we have to wait for answers, waiting for love, waiting for money, waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for that text back, waiting to see if somebody likes our posts on Facebook or X or wherever you guys go, Instagram. How patience can be power without turning into paralysis. As always, we'll probably mix a little bit of humor, a little bit of real talk, tools, so you don't lose your mind in the middle of the delay while you're waiting. Till then, be vigilant, be kind, and always remember that what you say matters. This is G-Man for Kel. See ya.